Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, get ready for an entertainment explosion. Get ready for an avalanche of awesomeness. Get ready to go live with your boy. Here he is, Hoodie Jube. And make sure to hit the subscribe button for your chance to win tickets to a live New Orleans Saints football game.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Hoodie Jube back with another live podcast. And if y'all don't know, y'all will know. There's no YouTube without your boy Hoodie Jube. Thank you, Mr. Dynamite, for the sick intro, man. We love it. And there's no better way to start off the show than hitting it again for him, Jube.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, get ready for an entertainment explosion. Get ready for an avalanche of awesomeness. Get ready to go live with your boy. Here he is, Hoodie Jube. And make sure to hit the subscribe button for your chance to win tickets to a live New Orleans Saints football game.
Alrighty, so how is my Who Dat Nation doing? Are we doing great? Well, y'all about to be doing great for sure, because we got a special guest today. Everybody knows him from the Pro Media Network. They call him Mr. Big Q, the one, man, probably one of the best ones here, man. Out of him and TJ, I had to, those two are probably my favorite ones. And they're the ones that really motivated me. And Mr. Aaron, B&G Breakdown also motivated me and stuff. But Big Q and TJ, probably my two favorite ones. But let's bring on the special guest today. And Mr. Big Q, let's give him a good introduction like I do with Jerry all the time. So here he is, from the sports coma, Big Q. welcome.
Hoodie, man, appreciate you, bro. That was a terrific intro, bro. Felt like I'm ready to go and clothesline somebody now, bro. I'm ready to I'm ready to do a drop kick right now, bro. I'm ready to go, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just been looking at my phone every 5 seconds to see if OBJ signed with it yet. That's the type of day it is for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, bro, we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, the biggest hurdle, he cleared waivers, which I thought it'd be difficult to do. But after he threatened them and told them, if anybody claim me, we're gonna have problems. And they were like, yeah, we don't want that smoke. So they backed off, and he free now. So
yes, definitely. I'm just hoping, because I'm hoping this source that posted on Twitter is true. But they saying something about the Packers sent them an offer so far, and he said he's still looking around, to see who gives him the best offer so far. And then they said the two teams that are pushing really hard right now to give him a better offer than what the Packers was trying to offer him are the Patriots and the Saints. So
okay,
if it's out of us and the Patriots, that's good, But if I had to decide, like if he does not sign with us, I'm hoping he goes to the Patriots. Hope he's not going to no damn Packers. And then when I seen they said he might go to the Bucks, I'm like, y'all full of shit. You think he needs to go to the Bucks? They got too many weapons as it is.
Right. I mean, that'll be piling on to if he goes over there, man, that'll be extra incentive to kind of deal with him when we do play the Tampa Bay Skunkaneers once again. But yeah, hopefully that's not the case. If it's not New Orleans, go out of the way to New England.
Definitely. And then what I told people the other day was, some people said, okay, so you might get him this year if he joins, and then if he wants to, stay with us, what you're going to do with Michael Thomas? And I said, we're going to keep Michael Thomas because we never did have our number 2 receiver, and Michael Thomas and Odell together will be great. And they were like, well, how are you going to get the ball to both of them? They both ball hawks. And I'm like, okay, do you not remember who our head coach is? Do you not remember who calls the offensive plays, who draws up the plays? Mr. Sean Payton. He can literally say this, Thomas, how many catches you want today, man? You want 7 to 10? Guys, we'll draw 10 plays up to get it into your hands. Odell, you want 10 times too? We're going to draw 10 plays up. All right, Kamara, you want the ball, 10, 15 times running the ball? All right, we got you. We run more than 35 plays a game, so it ain't hard. I don't know why everybody think it's hard. And then I feel like with Odell Beckham, if you watch him from college, to now, he's a person that likes to party, a dancer, on the side. I could see him, vibing with Demario Davis and C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Lattimore and all them on the sidelines. I can just see him vibing with the offense, especially with Kamara and Ingram too.
Oh yeah,
Ingram's probably one of the best teammates you can have on the sidelines that would bring the juice and put a spark up your butt and be like, hey, let's get this going. So to have him on the team, and I was saying if Odell comes, he might spark something into Odell, which would be nice.
Yeah, I agree with you, bro. I mean, Ingram is terrific.
He is. And then, but now they saying that Kamara might be a little hurt and banged up. So that's why they went and signed, I forgot the guy's name. It was something Adams we went to sign to our practice squad. But, I mean, before you bring him up to the squad, if you had to, because he's banged up, I would try to bring up Lamar Miller, who's been on the practice squad for like 2 weeks now, if I was the Saints.
Yeah, that'd be the move I'd do, too. He got more familiarity as a veteran running back, Hoodie, so I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and then I'm hoping, this is the only thing I'm hoping he ain't too banged up to where he can't play Kamara, but, I mean, if you have to, just don't give him the ball as much. Just feed it more to Mark Ingram. And like we said, if we got to bring up Lamar Miller, bring him up, give him a few more touches. But how long has it been since Tony Jones been out? Because then they say about 4 weeks he was supposed to be out, and it seems like he's been out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, he's been out for a while, Hoodie. The latest rumblings is that that Tony Jones is going to be out for the rest of the year. That's why the Saints is doing all these machinations with other running backs. They don't. Tony Jones is not in the immediate future right now, at least for what I'm hearing, is that he could possibly be done for the rest of the year. The Saints are ready to let him sit there for the rest of the year.
Well, damn, that's not good because that's why we waived Murray. That's why we cut him.
Yeah,
and now we can be using him right now, especially.
Yeah, well, you got to use you got Ingram. We traded to get Ingram back, and like you said about Lamar Miller, if something's wrong with Alvin Kamara or Coach Payton got to dial back his usage in this upcoming game. I mean, we have not been really hitting him that hard with Ingram. You know what I'm saying? We've been really kind of light with Ingram, so he can have a heavy carry game. We got Dwayne Washington, Hoodie too. I don't know how you feel about him. He's a very seldom used dude, most of the special teams guy, in my opinion. But he's up there as well. So we'll see, bro.
Yeah, Dwayne Washington did good last year when we when was it? Was it Kamara, Murray, and all of them went down, and you literally just had Tom Montgomery in them?
Yeah.
But I mean, to be honest, I know we need another receiver, and I feel like, to be honest, if the Saints really do push hard and get OBJ to be our number one receiver, Callaway, I feel like he's going to get open a lot more. He don't have to be the number one target anymore. So he's going to get open, and then that might release some stress off of them, and they might can move Tom Montgomery back to running back since he knows that, and he can be your receiving back like we did with Kamara to take a little bit off of Kamara, which would be nice.
Yeah, Hoodie, that's a good thought there, bro. Excellent thinking there. I think the biggest caveat to getting OBJ here is that he's one of the wide receivers that you have to game plan for, and then when you have to double team, which definitely takes the pressure off a wide receiver. So you're not going to let OBJ roll around there without putting two guys on him. So that definitely helps out whoever wide receivers you got straight off the bat right there. He definitely takes the pressure off of him off top. So great thinking on that.
And then, like, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, too, is it's weird. It's weird how we start off the season with hurricane. We can't play at home. We got all these injuries. You got COVID. You got all this adversity that we're fighting right now.
Right.
And we finally thought we was coming back, getting our Michael Thomas. We thought we was getting healthy. And, there goes Michael Thomas to next year. Will Lutz is out. So you got people just going out and out. All the more adversity stuff we got to fight again.
Right.
But if you notice, I think almost every NFL team this year so far has fought adversity too. Like Derrick Henry out for the year now. So now what they got to do without Derrick Henry? Who are some other people like the Bucks? I mean, the Bucks adversity ain't as bad as us. I mean, yeah, they don't have AB or Scotty Miller, but damn, y'all still had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They should have still, they should still be straight with the receivers they got. And I think they just signed Perriman back to their practice squad today. I think I read today on some sources. He's back with the Bucks, but they said he's going to stay on the practice squad for a little while before they activate him, which is a little weird. But when I seen that, it's like, okay, maybe he's not maybe OBJ is not going to the Bucks now since they signed, Perriman over there to the squad. And because to be honest, like OBJ, yeah, if you want a ring, yeah, go to the Bucks. You can do it, but it might be boring watching you play. You might only get 2 catches a game, 3 catches because you got too many damn weapons over there as it is. You got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and AB and Scotty Miller. So, you can go ahead and go play with them. But you're not going to do that. Yeah, and Gronk, if he's healthy.
Yeah.
It don't make no sense. Like I told everybody, the best scenario for him right now is New Orleans. And the reason why I say he's the best scenario for New Orleans is, first of all, this is where you grew up. This is your hometown. This is where you started football career in New Orleans. Then you went and stayed in Louisiana, played for LSU, made a big name. You got drafted and stuff. You've been to the New York Giants, made a big name for yourself. You thought you was going to be a big name over here in Cleveland. Didn't work out. And why not come back to New Orleans, to your hometown, and show, like, hey, even though this hometown is fighting adversity still, because, still everybody's still trying to get back on their feet from the hurricane. And why don't you come back here and host this city that you love? And then I think it was like a year or 2 ago, he posted on Twitter one day commenting about when we signed Amanda Sanders last year. I think it was a year ago when we signed him. He literally commented and said, dude, freaking for real. He said, this is the best system in the league. So this is the best system in the league last year. There's nothing different. The coach is still here, my brother. So come hop over here in the best system, like you said, last year. Hop on in. And I thought about it. We're just missing a star receiver. That's the only thing that's killing us. Because once we get that star receiver to take some pressure off of Kamara and Callaway in them, that's going to help us in the long run. That's all we need is somebody to double team OBJ for Callaway and them can have less pressure on them. Because Callaway's your number 1 receiver basically getting double team. Right. And Deontay Harris is only a single coverage. And now we might be fighting Deontay Harris being suspended for 3 games.
Yeah, that's another thing.
It's just like we got to keep fighting adversity. And I tell everybody, if we make it to the playoffs this year, which we should, you better give Coach Sean Payton Coach of the Year. Because this man's fighting through all this adversity this year, trying to make it to the playoffs with a team that he has on hand. And if they do give him a Coach of the Year, I'm telling you, we might have more people come our way next year in the free agency. They might actually look at it and be like, damn, look what Sean Payton did with this team of backups and third strings and undrafted people, too. That's the crazy part. It's like, if you want to make a name for yourself and you just feel like your name ain't that big, like Odell, his name was big. He's still a big name. But when he went to Cleveland, it just went down a little bit. Like, you wasn't hearing him getting the ball that much, He got hurt a little bit, came back and healthy. And then you watch the video his dad posted, wide open. You don't even see the guy. But I know one person that would pass it to you wide open, my brother. Trevor Siemian, motherfucker. That dude will hit you right on the target. You know why? Because you're going to be his number 1 target. God damn it. Baker Mayfield don't worry about you. He wasn't really worried about you. He was basically worried about his boy Landry and, the tight ends and Nick Chubb. Those are his favorite target. Odell wasn't really his target. And that's why I tell people, come to New Orleans and we'll be straight. We'll be back on the killing streak like we were. Like I said, I still have faith in Sean Payton. Like that question I sent yesterday to, what's his name? Lowe? Big Lowe. Yep. What I told him yesterday, I literally asked him that question. I said, do you believe in your Falcons if Matt Ryan went down? Do you believe in your coaches to win? Like we did on Sean Payton. Like us, we know no matter what quarterback now, and it's so funny to watch some of our Saints fans still cry. I'm like, oh my God, our season's over. Jameis Winston is gone. I'm like, yeah, look at us winning still with Trevor. He came in, beat the Bucks. That's the one game you should have cried about. Like, oh shit, we're done. But after you seen him come in and ready to go and beat him, that should have showed you some hope right there. And then, yeah, the Falcons game, I was there live, and it was shitty for the first half, third quarter, shitty. But soon as we was about to leave, and we were leaving, I was like, you know what, let's leave, beat the traffic, we need to get out of here. Because it was like, 20-something to 6, so I was like, let's go beat the traffic. And they had people leaving, too. So we get in my truck, and we just watching the game on my phone. Come back. I'm like, oh, you gotta be shitting me. You telling me I leave to go beat the traffic, and they doing this? And I said, now they coming back, and we doing this, like banging it up. We're going crazy in the car, on the way home, just cheering them on. And then we were like, damn, a big pass. They said pass to Debo, and then I'm like, dude, they need to stop hating on the Debo. He's the rookie. He's gonna make mistakes. But guess what? For what he's doing so far, as a rookie, he's proven that he can play in the league. He just needs a little bit more time. And some people get mad and they post and they like, why can't you play Roby? That's who you traded for. And I watched Roby play a few games so far this year. And I think it was one game. Was it? It might have been a bus game. I seen him in more than a Debo, and he was getting burnt by Chris Godwin. I was like, I wanted to see what a Debo can do. A Debo's a little bit younger and probably quicker.
Yeah, Roby hadn't looked good. He was giving up some plays in this one here, and a Debo. And people can forget how well a Debo has been playing. He has a veteran calm around him. People forget that he's a rookie. I mean, yep. he's solid, man. So I mean, you're absolutely right. I think Roby gonna have to step up. We have to see what's going on with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson now. He was carted off the field. That's not a good thing. So, we'll see. I think Roby will get an opportunity to see what he can do.
Definitely. And I got to say who that to everybody in the chat, because I haven't read nobody's chats yet. But I just seen somebody who was like, Nola Baby Kevin said, Jube, you got me all hyped over here. I just like to see how Mickey Loomis is going to manage the salary cap. Jube, because our well is dry. Yep, yeah, we are barely no cap space, but you know how we work it. We're going to find a way to sign him to a contract if he does come, because that's why they pushing for him still. And to be honest with you, yeah, the Packers would be a good fit for him because, you got A-Rod, you got Devontae Adams as your number one, so you'll get a lot more, freedom compared to being over there with Cleveland because, he probably was the number one over Landry. But it would be a good fit, but I'm kind of pissed off still reading the damn thing about how they only fined the team for $300,000 and only fined Aaron Rodgers for $14. Like, you gotta be shitting me. You gonna tell me you almost fined almost $1 million for us for not just wearing a mask last year and a pick, but you're not gonna suspend these motherfuckers for 2 months of playing without being vaccinated?
No.
That they should be suspended. Like, he should be suspended for at least 2 months. You play for 2 months, now you ain't gonna play for 2 months.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, but you go to see us. I've been saying it for years about Goodell. Goodell has a different set of rules and penalties for the Who Dat Nation, and he's showing it. It's just ridiculous.
It don't make no sense. Like, why do you hate the Saints so much? And then when I was watching the damn penalty call thing from last night from the Bears game and the Steelers, and I'm like, dude, you telling me the ref is gonna turn his butt and like, put his butt in this dude and bump him and then pull a penalty flag on him? I'm like, dude, you got caught on camera doing what you did, and then you're going to turn it around. Oh, yeah, it was a penalty. It was a taunting. It looked like he was taunting. So it looks like he was taunting because he was running back to his sideline at the field. Yeah, okay, that's taunting, all right. And there's so many players on Twitter right now posting on there saying all these taunting things is ruining football. It is, because it's fun watching a football game where somebody gets a catch over him and he's like, all in your face, like, yeah, you can't guard me. And they just talking shit and then they want to play harder. That's what makes it more fun. But now it's making it look like, I don't know, look like we're watching high school, middle school football right now. Like, don't taunting. I don't know. It's just, now that's fun to watch it when you see people taunting each other and talking smack, especially on Gardner-Johnson, because he began punching the face. It's pretty funny. And then he's like, hi, you out of here.
Yeah, Chauncey know how to manipulate those guys and get them upset to start throwing it. Then he plays the victim. When he initiated the whole thing, they just didn't catch him. He real slick with that. But yeah, you're right. The referees. If people looking for me to give the referees a fair spiel, I'm not the guy. I hate the referees. I've been adamant about that for years, talking about how pathetic they are, how garbage and trash they are, especially to the Who Dat Nation. I mean, you had Tampa Bay came down here and the guys are doing all that kind of stuff. And really, they should have more penalties than that. They find White, he tears up a quarterback. They find him a couple of 10 grand, 14 grand, whatever it is. And then in this past matchup against Atlanta, I mean, these ridiculous 9 calls and some of the calls that we forced to do finally because of all of the foolishness that was going on. So now I'm not the guy. I don't like the referees either.
I really don't either. But to ask you a question while you're on the show, what is up with CJ Gardner-Johnson? Because I remember I was at the game. They said he got carted off because of his toe or something like that, something with his foot. Yeah, and they haven't posted no info yet about it at all. Like, hey, he's out. I mean, I guess we'll see tomorrow with the practice.
Well, Coach Payton, they did a press conference, and one of the reporters asked Coach Payton about it after the game, and he said a few things about it, but went around it. He didn't expectly give him a direct answer, but you could tell by his mannerisms and the way he was saying that it wasn't good. He didn't tell him it wasn't good, but you can read his body language and his expressions and see that it's never a good thing when you see these guys get carted off the field. So we anticipate Chauncey Gardner-Johnson missing some time, bro.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's not out for the season because we do need him for the playoffs, especially to talk that smack into people. Even though you can't do that anymore. I mean, if you just look at somebody, it's a penalty. So, yeah, but I mean, you're gonna see somebody go and tackle the guy, and they're gonna be like, penalty. That was taunting. You were looking at him in the eyes. Yeah, I had to look at the play to tackle him. So
yes,
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah. You're right, bro. It don't make any sense. I don't like it either, Hoodie. I think it's ridiculous. And then, of course, like I said, my big thing is just play as close to mistake-free football as you possibly can and eliminate the referees. I mean, when we play close with these teams, it gives the referees gray area to operate to be able to manipulate the game. So if we can just push these people out of here and play with that intelligence and that high football IQ that we known to play with at times, then we shouldn't have any issues. That's how we've been beating them for years now.
And what I don't know if you see it, but I see it, and everybody in the chat, y'all can comment and let me know. Tell me this ain't weird. Okay, so you got the refs on the field calling penalties, calling bullcrap, and then it would be like, oh, it's under review. And then when you go to like a commercial break and you come back, they're like, hey, we got the specialist right here that knows everything, that knows the calls. What should it be, y'all? And you're like, oh, yeah, it's going to be Saints ball. Yeah, that was definitely a fumble. And then they come back, oh, that was not a fumble. Well, why don't you have the specialist guy call the shit? The refs don't know what they're doing. Why don't they have him at the game on the thing? Because they seeing it on camera. They can be like, hey, we wanted to let you know that was a fumble. I am your big specialist right here. I know what I'm talking about. That is a fumble. Make it fair. That's what they should be doing. Why you got the refs on the field anyway? You got all these cameras. You can have an automatic thing that will pop up on the screen making a noise. Flag, penalty. We don't need the refs because we want to kill them already. So,
yeah, the referees, man, they had a thought about doing what they call the sky judge, which it would have been an extra referee who would have been above the game using all of the angles. But really, the referees on the field are not making as many calls as we think they are. A lot of time they're being directed by the league office, the referee league office to make calls. That's why when you see them go into the review, to look at it, you see them talking with their head. They put the earpiece on and you see them communicating. They're supposed to just be watching the replay to see where it is. Who are they communicating with the league office to tell them what play to call? So a lot of times the referees are not making all of these calls. They're getting directed by the league office of what calls to make and which calls. That's why you see a bad play and they all keep their flags down. It's manipulated and very tight in control. But yeah, a lot of calls don't come from the referees on the field. They do make some, but most of them are coming from the league office. They're telling them which ones to make, especially in those review situations. They're telling them which ones to make.
Yeah, it don't make no sense though. It's just like if you're gonna listen to them, it basically sounds like WWE. Before we used to think that shit was real, it was nice, and then once we found out it was fake because Vince McMahon got his ass blown up in that limousine and he was dead, and then he showed up the next day because somebody passed away. I think it was like Benoit that died that night. Yeah. I'm like, okay, so you're gonna tell me this shit was fake? All right. So now ever since you can tell, they are being controlled like puppets by what Mr. McMahon wants you to do. So now I feel like the NFL is low key like that. Like if they want the Saints to lose, oh yeah, they're gonna find a way to make us lose. Or if they want this team to lose, oh, we're gonna find a way. And sometimes it feels like the refs are playing fantasy football. Like they're like, yo, I can't have this dude score a touchdown on this damn play because I'm playing against Kamara this week. So that's why when we got that 40-yard run, they took it back. Oh, hold it. He's not doing that on my fantasy team.
Yeah, you're right, Hoodie. I mean, I've seen that too. Like, they throw flags at the weirdest time. They've known to take points off the board from the black and gold. That's a steady thing, game to game, bro. They'll pull off big plays or calls that'll try to stifle your momentum. Like they had the holding calls and all this other stuff, and they mysteriously couldn't see Atlanta doing anything wrong. But you're in your building. You're supposed to get home cooking. They call it, but the Saints never get home cooking. They get called more penalties in their building than the guys coming in. So I mean that really doesn't work with the Saints. I mean, we just have to beat the team we playing and the referees at the same time. We gotta look at them as the same squad.
Yep. So this will be one of my questions for you now. So now, if Gardner Johnson might be out, who you think should replace him? Like, who would be a good person in that slot, nickel, safety?
Well, first, many people will say Courtney Roby because it justifies him getting the opportunity to be on the field a little bit more. But really, I would probably, if he's healthy, I would probably look at a guy like Crawley, to be able to play that position. But I think more than likely it would be Roby to justify the draft capital and him getting on the field. So I would have to go with Courtney Roby on that, Hoodie.
Gotcha. See, I didn't know who I would choose because, like, I would say like PJ Williams because everybody's saying he's looking better at safety. Mm-hmm. But I like the safety he was in. I like the position he's in when he got the pick six, where he's watching over everything. I feel like he's better like that than having guard someone one-on-one.
I don't want to see him in the coverage role, bro. I mean, that's the thing about PJ. You're absolutely right. PJ looks comfortable as that safety. And he has some plays when they had moved him in there, but I really don't want to see him. He's playing really super competent. But I really don't know if I want PJ at corner. I'm very leery of that, man. Yeah, I'm kind of – I really – thank you, Jerry. Jerry said – what I say, Courtney Roby? I mean Bradley Roby. There you go. Thank you, Jerry. Bradley Roby.
Roby.
Yeah, I remember Courtney Roby. We had him too. He was the wide receiver. Yeah, I remember Courtney Roby. Yeah,
definitely the return specialist.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Thank you, Jerry. Bradley Roby.
So, I mean, to be honest with you, like, if you watch Gardner Johnson, he don't really cover that much. Like, he does cover a little bit, but I like him when he, like, blitzes off the edge. So, if you got to use somebody on a blitz call, I would put Malcolm Jenkins right there. Malcolm Jenkins is one of those people that really good at solid at tackling, can probably blitz really good. But I really want to see how this will work because I haven't seen it once yet. But I want to see Demario Davis, Pete Warner, and Kawan on the field at the same time. I'm telling you, it's going to be deadly with all of them on that. Yeah. I was like, put Demario right up in the middle, let them watch the middle of the field, and put Pete Warner and Kawan on each side and let them watch the side because they quit. They can go sideline to sideline. And just keep Demario in the middle. I'm telling y'all, that would be a little scary if we did like a 4-3 or a 3-4, whatever it's called.
Yep. 43 would look nasty. And guess what, Hoodie? You're absolutely right because Quan could play either or. I mean, so you can put Warner inside with Demario and play Demario there and Warner on one side. I mean, he's good enough to play both of those guys there, but you can move them at either position because they have pretty good coverage ability despite what we've seen happen with Quan Alexander against Patterson, but majority of the time, these are good coverage linebackers.
Yep, and this week we better not fall for no damn HB wheel routes. Even though I don't think Peterson's going to do that with his old self, I don't think he's going to be doing HB wheel routes. I don't see him being no Cordell Patterson. But I mean, shoot, I feel like this game the defense is going to bounce back. To be honest with you, against the Titans, just because I felt like. I already came into the game, and I was watching Lattimore. He didn't look like he was locked in. Like, when I was just watching him warm up, he didn't look like the Lattimore that you normally see. Mm-hmm. And I think it was because he was playing against the people he was playing against. He didn't really have nobody to really have to lock up, to be honest. Because, I mean, he had Kyle Pitts. I mean, that's a rookie, if you want to make a name, but he hasn't made his name yet in the NFL just yet. And then Patterson. It was basically this Patterson that was killing us. And the thing that killed me was, and if I was Sean Payton, not Sean Payton, if I was Dennis Allen, because, we can't blame everything on Sean Payton. He's not calling defensive plays. But if I was Dennis Allen, and I noticed they had 30 rushing yards the whole game against me, that tells me something right there, that my front four, my front seven is solid. Why the hell are we blitzing, and why the hell are we doing all of this when you know damn well they were killing us over the top? Put more people on the field like you did against the Bucs, where you're covering more people, and just worry about the pass, and let your front four, Cameron Jordan, Peyton Turner, Capasino, Alamadu, let them just get up the middle and stop the run. Them four can stop the run. You don't need all 7 people, 8 people trying to blitz. You need to keep everybody and watch the coverage. I'm telling you, our defense is so good. Now, when you play against somebody like Derrick Henry, if he was in there, then you got to watch, a little bit more people in front. But when you got people who don't have a good running back, especially if we're going to the Titans this weekend with no Derrick Henry. It's going to basically be what Adrian Peterson and whoever else they had on the squad. Basically, just let your front four and see how strong they are. Because I'm telling you, they're good enough to stop the run and play more coverage because you're going to have to watch A.J. Brown and Julio.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Adrian Peterson is there, and they had a pretty good win against the Rams. So, and of course, like you said, the Saints usually have the propensity to play down to their competition. We did it with the Giants. When we got up, we were beating. We were able to. We had the lead of both these squads, and for whatever reason, we didn't keep it. But we got to have a focus against the Titans, and I think we do. The Titans one of the better teams in the NFL and the AFC, and the Saints going into Tennessee, I think they'll be up for the challenge.
Definitely, we've been playing so much better on the road this season so far. Yeah. It's like I think let's see, so we beat Green Bay, but that was at home basically / on the road. We lost to Carolina because we was no coaches and crap, and then we went on the road again, who was the third team we beat? I mean the second team.
The Patriots. I mean we we took out we had the what was it, the Packers first, then Carolina was a loss, and then we had the Patriots third, fourth was the Giants. I want to say we
came home and lost to them.
Yeah. And then after that, it was the the Buccaneers?
Washington football team, and then
Bucks.
Yep, and then Bucks out the bye week. So that's where it don't make sense. It's like, we beat the Bucks at home.
Yeah, Seattle in there too.
Oh yeah, Seattle. Yeah, we had Seattle out the bye week, and then it was the Bucks. Huh?
Yeah, it was. Right after the bye week was. I'm gonna have to pull up the schedule, man. All this stuff running together, Hoodie.
I think the bye week was after Washington, because we was like, thank God we beat Washington. Yeah. They go into the bye week positive.
It was after that because Taysom got knocked out in the first half of that game, and the first half of that Washington football game, and I was thinking if he got out, he should be back after the bye week. So you're right,
definitely. And then it's like, how we say like. Last few years, they've been saying we're known as the Saints to win at home because the dome going crazy and everything. But this year, we're known a lot more winning on the road so far than being at home. It's just like we bringing the Jube because I've been at every home game so far. That place been getting loud. That place almost have 130. The sound is like almost to 130, almost to the max record, almost. And it's just crazy how we like playing in it. I feel like we just underestimated people. Like when the Bucks came in, they wasn't underestimating nothing. They were literally playing ball. It's just when we play teams that we should beat, it just seems like they don't care. And it's just like you should be caring about every damn game because this is the crazy part. This is why I think some of the media people hate the Saints so much and they can't stick with us. It's because of this. They know damn well we can play a hard, tough team and whoop their ass, but we'll go play an easy team and then lose. It's like Tom Brady and them. When they play us or somebody else that's a tough competition, they lose. Or they like have a really close game. But when they play somebody shitty, they beat the shit out of them. Just because that's what you should be doing. He takes advantage of that. Us, we're not taking advantage of it. We're just like, it's just a crappy team. We should beat the Falcons. And then look what happens. It's just like, why don't y'all play up to standard every game? Why it has to be every other game or every, depending on what they are? It don't make no sense to me. And our Saints, y'all need to, if y'all listening, play hard every damn game, all right? Every game.
Yeah, I agree, Hoodie. I mean, that's the mark of a professional, isn't it? That we bring our hard hat and our lunchbox every contest. And the sad part about it is, except for the Carolina matchup, the two losses that we had, the Giants matchup, we were up in the Giants matchup and we surrendered touchdowns to let them get back in there and win it. We had this team beaten. Same with Atlanta. We came all the way back in the fourth quarter, take the lead from them by 2, and then the defense surrenders deep passes to let the Atlanta kick them out, kick us into a loss column. It's just and then of course it's just lethargic play, and it's something that is troublesome to me. We talked about that on the show tonight, and I've mentioned it in the recap stream, is that people have to start pointing that out because that's very troublesome, and that kind of stuff, that kind of play gets you beat later on in the year if you don't get it fixed.
Yep. It don't make no sense, but I mean, some of the stuff that I looked at too, today was just like, I know our receivers were dropping shit last week, and I felt like if we would have caught them passes, the game would have been a totally different ball game.
Right.
But at the same time, those are the same people that caught that shit to get us back into the game in the fourth quarter. So it ain't like we traded them away and said, hey, you shit on the bench. All right, Hoodie, Jube, I see you in the crowd. Come on the field, Hoodie. I heard you got better hands than everybody. It ain't like they took me and drew me on the field. No, I was in my truck. I was in my truck on my way home listening.
Right.
So, I mean, it ain't like, I don't know why people take so, like I told everybody, they're so mad at Adam Troutman. I know. You can call him trash. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, Troutman's a lightning rod for.
This is his second year. This is basically his second year. This is his second year that he's got to be the starter now. And he's taken the blocking tight end role because Vanette hasn't been there yet, hasn't played yet this season. So this man's focusing on that. And he's trying to focus on catching and blocking and route run. He's trying to focus on it all. And George Kittle can block. George Kittle can run routes. He can catch. But it took him 4 years to become George Kittle. Not everybody's just going to come into the NFL draft like you want him to and be like, oh, he's the greatest. Like, he's the best tight end ever. They're not going to come into the draft just like that. Like I said, it takes people time to develop because I know this ain't like a lot of times, but I'm just using it as an example. Look at Jamar Chase. Preseason, he looked like booty cheeks. Everybody was like, oh, damn, this might be a bust. Now look at him. Top rookie in the league right now. It just took him a little bit of time to focus on the NFL ball than the college ball. And I was like, it's basically the same thing with Troutman. He's trying to learn so much as a second-year man. When last year, it ain't like he was drawn in the fire as a starter and he took so much in. He was behind Jerry Cook, so he was learning a little bit. And there was no offseason last year, remember? Because of the COVID and stuff. So basically, this is your first full year with the full offseason and all kind of stuff. And you're trying to do the best you can. But the people that's supposed to be here for you can focus on your job, being the catcher and being the route runner tight end that you are, you're focusing on blocking because everybody's hurt. And the thing that I didn't like, too, was why did they have Sean Payton? Sean Payton literally said this, that Juwan Johnson was a healthy and active Sunday because they needed more men on the special teams. Motherfucker, you needed more hands, not special teams. I could have played special teams for you. Like, come on, son. Juwan Johnson's been your red zone threat. He's been killing people in the red zone, and you're going to take him out the game. I mean, and I'll say, oh, he was a healthy and active. Yeah, now look how stupid you look, son. Look how stupid. But
yeah, that wasn't a good call by Coach Payton to do that because you took away a really good weapon, like you said. And the Troutman stuff, you know, and I agree wholeheartedly. Troutman, you got to give these guys opportunity. It's not talent that Troutman's dealing with. It's a lot that he's absorbing and what he's doing with the Saints offense. And it's not talent. That's the issue right here. I mean, he's dealing with some confidence issues, a young guy, because he hearing that. I promise you, Troutman hearing all of the criticisms. The entire Saints wide receiver room is hearing the criticisms, Hoodie. You know, and it's been there for the entire season, whether those guys play well or not. And you're right when you say what you said about those were the same guys, and I made that point myself about the wide receivers that the Saints had. They didn't go and sign new wide receivers that have. They were the same guys that were dropping them in the first half were the ones catching them in the second half to get the Saints the lead in the second half of the game. So, I mean, but people don't look at that. You know, they just latch on to the most pressing or glaring thing, which was the drops queue. And I told the family, listen, hold on here. The Saints overcame that. They beat the drops, the turnovers, and the poorest referee calls and came in there, scored 22 points with a third-string quarterback in the fourth quarter with the help of the defense and special teams. The Saints took the lead by 2. The defense simply could not hold the lead with 40-something seconds left. Bottom line, bad defensive call. They gave up a big pass that set up a field goal for Atlanta to win the game. Bottom line, Saints fought all the way back to the chagrin of a lot of who that family members that want to stick on drops and all that kind of stuff. I hear you. And the criticisms of the wide receiver room, that's been going on all year though, Hoodie. And Juwan Johnson and Adam Troutman, all those guys are part of the criticisms. The Saints need every big name player. When Ertz was out there, we got to go get Ertz. When whoever's out there, as soon as somebody get released, the Saints need to go and get them. I see the articles all the time. And Coach Payton keeps telling them, I believe in these young wide receivers. But we got the worst wide receivers in the business, but you're sitting up here with 5 wins in the season. Could have been 7 wins if the defense would have stopped Atlanta and New York in the back end of these contests. So, you know, like I said, I believe in these young wide receivers.
And I kind of agree with Mr. Kevin in here in the chat. He said Trotman needs confidence. He needs confidence. And to be honest with y'all, the fans, I know y'all frustrated, and y'all would say harmful things to people saying Trotman needs to go, Trotman's ass. I hope this man gets hurt for he don't play anymore. Like people say kind of harmful stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? People
terrible.
say that stuff. I know. I know people say that. I'm not saying they're saying it in the chat, but I see it all over the place watching it.
What you mean. Yeah.
And it's just like it's sad. It's like, what if Trotman's actually looking at this shit right now? What if he's in my live podcast and he sees everybody saying Trotman needs to go? Or what if he says, hey, Trotman is cool, man. We know it's your second year. Keep development. We can see you being a big star one day. Then he can have momentum and confidence. But people downing him and tagging him and stuff saying you're trash and this and that, how do you think that makes that man feel? That's not going to motivate him to be better. That's making him more down. You don't know how type of character he is. He might be a person that, hey, I'm going to feed off of that, off of you saying I'm trash and I'm going to prove you wrong. Or he can be one of those people like, damn, I might not want to play football ever again, especially for this place. That might make him feel like that. But like I said, just boost this man some confidence, give this man a chance. Like I said, it's only his second damn year trying to play right now. And I said, if he's bad by his third or fourth year and he hasn't done nothing, then that's when you release him. That's when you don't have him on contract anymore.
Right.
So,
absolutely. I mean, like you said, he was a backup mostly last year, his first year of him having that role. And based on when I did my research and scouted Trotman is a really good tight end. But once he figured it out, and of course, they harp on this drop passes in the game, and yeah, he is frustrated seeing him drop them. But he also caught several of them to help keep drives extended. He also was out there doing hellified blocking to open up running lanes for our running back. So that never gets seen or talked about, only the negative. So usually if people are real and they're fair, you got also, if you criticize them for the drops in the first half, you got to give them credit for the catches. And there's also it's something called in redeeming yourself in this world. They can do it on football. They redeem themselves all the time. You drop a third down ball or a fourth down ball, get out there and make catches to make it work again. And Trotman did that. So he got a long way to go, but listen, he got the talent. He gonna be fine.
Definitely. And then Mr. Kevin commented, I kind of agree with you. He said, man, Gary Griffin looks a little bit better, right? Let's keep it real. Yeah, he's been looking better, but you also got to look at it like this too. He's the one that's been practicing with Trevor Siemian for the past 2 or 3 years, because they're the one that practices together every time. Trotman's been practicing with the starters, with Winston. So I'm telling you, once we get Trevor Siemian and Trotman getting more chemistry together, he might find out and actually know where to put that ball at for him, Trotman might be better off catching it like in a certain spot, and you need to put it in that spot for him every time. So we just got to see with them practicing together now. And a lot of people were saying last game, because you remember people was talking about Taysom Hill needs to be the starter now. And I'm like, Taysom Hill wouldn't have did anything different. He would have drew the ball too, and nobody would have caught it. It's like, yeah, the 2 plays that he came in and brought us to the other side of the field was 2 passing plays. And the reason why he got us downfield is because everybody thought his ass was coming in for a run play like he's been doing. And that's the only reason why. Now, if you let him be a starter, they're going to prepare for him, the pass and the run. They're going to know what they're doing, and that's what they said. The Falcons actually made a game plan for Taysom Hill, knowing he was going to play, but they barely seen him on the field because Sean Payton knew they were practicing and waiting for the Taysom Hill role the whole time. That's why you didn't see him on the field that much, and that's what I was telling people. But, I mean, your thoughts? I mean, do you think Trevor Siemian's bad? You think he needs to stop starting, or you think he needs to stay as our starter right now?
No, I think he need to remain the starter in the Saints offense, no doubt about it. I mean, the offense is working behind him, and like I said, the Tampa Bay win the Saints had, they were tied 7-7 when Jameis was pulled out of the game with that injury, and of course he orchestrated, along with the defense and the special teams, the win over Tampa Bay, which was a big win. Should be the biggest win of the year for any team to lose their starting quarterback and still beat the defending Super Bowl champion NFC South leading Tampa Bay Skunkaneers. Nice, but a lot of people disrespecting Trevor Siemian. He needs to stay right where he is, and we need to continue to flow the offense through him and add some more running into it. And of course, like I said, the wide receivers, they're going to get better and they're going to progress as we get forward. We just got to keep on building that harmony and that chemistry.
Yep. And then I wanted to answer this question because Mr. Nola Baby Kevin asked this for you and me. He said, question, is our quarterback room secure or do we plan ahead because injuries knock on the wood? So we bring in a veteran. And I was thinking, in my head, I feel like we're secured because Trevor Siemian is good. He's shown that he can prove it. Second of all, you got Taysom Hill if he goes down, if you really need Taysom. And third of all, you got the rookie Ian Books that you wasted a 4th-round pick on. So, I mean, you got 3 quarterbacks on the roster. Now, if we go play next game against the Titans and Trevor Siemian gets hurt and he's out for the season, then you need to get worried to look for a veteran. But right now, you got 3 quarterbacks. And to be honest, I think Ian Books is a solid quarterback too. Like I think he can do solid in his offense. And to be honest, Sean Payton can hire my ass and I'll be a solid quarterback. Because you see what he does. No matter who he puts at quarterback, he can win. So I can win a game with y'all, for Sean Payton if y'all want me to. Y'all want to see Hoodie, Jube, and Big Q on the Saints? Type in hell yeah in the chat if you want to see us on the Saints, y'all. But your thoughts, Big Q? On the quarterback?
Well, I mean, I do think the Saints, I mean, people are kind of disrespecting, and I don't think they knowingly doing it, but I think Ian Book has a bright future with the Saints. Coach Payton likes him a lot. He is a really good player and really intelligent. You watch, and for people who doubt Ian Book, I invite them to go and take a look at his college film and see what he did for the University of Notre Dame. He took down a lot of got more wins than some pretty good quarterbacks that came out of University of Notre Dame, like Joe Montana and Joe Theismann, some of these guys. So he really is a pretty interesting quarterback, really smart. He's mobile, tough as nails. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but neither was the guy that's our Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Famer. But he has the biggest heart, though. So I think Coach Payton loves what he is and what he can be in the building. But Trevor Siemian is a guy that Coach Payton already said he loves. He likes Trevor Siemian a lot. The offense flows to Trevor Siemian. Trevor Siemian had 40 attempts the last contest, 29 prior to that, I want to say. So the attempts is going to keep coming. I mean, he's confident in Trevor Siemian. Siemian's a veteran, and they disrespect Trevor Siemian, but Trevor Siemian will beat your ass if you give him protection and give him a running attack, catch the ball when he throw it. The Saints they can have a late run in the playoffs with these guys. But Jameis Winston is also a guy that I caution the family members to not forget about as he'd be doing his rehabilitation with New Orleans. And it's a curse and a blessing. The curse is losing Jameis the way we did during the season. The blessing is the price tag that you can be able to get him to come back on as he rehabilitates with the Saints. So you have the future insofar as Ian Book there. Trevor Siemian's a guy that's a veteran that can help, and that's still a Jameis Winston factor. So, I mean, in terms of like the big free agent dollars, remember, they'll have some names out there, but we'll have over 15 of our own free agents, Deontay Harris and rest of what he's restricted, and a few other players that we'll have to think about bringing back in what do we need to do going forward. So, I mean, that also needs to be thrown in the equation. But I think the Saints could very well come back with the same collection of quarterbacks that you see right now next year. They really could. And
I'm hoping that quarterback is Winston. I hope he gets his second shot, with it, because the way it went down, he was going good. He was changing his career around, looking like that solid dude that you need at quarterback, especially with the deep balls. But like I said, if he's not healthy and ready by next year, which he should be, but if he's not, the next target I would like to see maybe, because they talking and it's been rumored, maybe Russell Wilson, if he wants out, he'll be a solid QB for me. I don't know if I would want A-Rod now because of his shit that he's been doing. And then he lies about the COVID-19 side. Do you really want that type of person in your locker room, and a person that was begging out and crying about coming out and has to have it his way to do it like that? Jameis Winston wasn't like that. Jameis Winston just came on in here and wanted to change his career with Coach Sean Payton, knowing that he can change it up. And also, to answer Mr. Kevin right here, he said, I bet you Q will go out there on the field and knock somebody's head off. No, he wouldn't not, he wouldn't knock a football player's head off. He'll probably knock out the rest first before anybody. You'll probably knock the rest heads off first.
Yeah, well, I mean, we know that I do not like the referees. So, yeah, you're absolutely right here. I'll probably tackle their ass first, get that penalty out the way, then we'll move on to the offense. So, yeah, that's pretty good. Thanks, Jeff.
like the longest yard, huh? Adam saying like,
there you go.
Call better play, Wet Willie. I can see that happening. But let's get back to the topic with the OBJ. So if we get him, what do you think? How you think we're gonna use him? You know, how you think they're gonna use him more on the outside slot? Like, how is OBJ to you? Like, what would be his best fit in his offense?
Probably the deep threat. That's probably the best fit that Coach Payton would probably utilize. I mean, that's his. I mean, he can do it all for you, but Coach Payton he really wants to get the ball down the field. So, and then of course, I mean, you can move him all the way around, Hoodie. I mean, OBJ can do a lot for you. You know, he's that talented. But I think his greatest application, if you think about it, is his deep threat ability to be able to get ahead of the cornerbacks over the top of the safeties, and if we get that ball down to him, we can look. It can take on a total different look. And like we mentioned, it's that even if you're not throwing the ball to him in that capacity, Hoodie, it's also the threat that he represents that you have to game plan for him, and the double teams that have to go in his way that clears up pressure from guys like Troutman, and don't forget Kamara's out there. So to have OBJ and Kamara on the same field, along with Mark Ingram, Taysom Hill, Deontay Harris, and then Callaway, all these guys, Troutman, it does help it. He garners that. He does take that pressure off of them. So that's the really good thing that I really would like if we do end up with him on the team.
Yep. And then, I mean, to be honest, do you think OBJ can kind of fit into Michael Thomas' role? You know, send him on these little slants and keep getting 5, 8 yards. I mean, I feel like he's got the footwork.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what Hoodie he can do. OBJ can do it all, man. I mean, you can move him around the field, reverses, all kind of stuff, man. He does it all, man, and that's what make him so special is because he's that talented. He still has elite level speed, elite level hands. He makes these fantastic catches, and like I said, you have the game plan for OBJ. So yeah, you're right. He could play that. He can go over there and play that role. He can. I mean, he catches as well as any of the big possession guys in the league. He's up there. You know, when he's healthy, he's catching 70+ balls a year, bro. If he's healthy, you know.
I can see him playing that Michael Thomas role, and then if people can't stop it, like they can't stop Michael Thomas, then you got to double team him. That's more pressure off of Kamara and you know Ingram and the running backs. And then to be honest with you, if you run the slants with him, that would be more open downfield passes for Deontay Harris and Callaway. Like, I thought Callaway was going to be that guy that you can do the slant, but I noticed he's more of a person that can shake you off of him when he's further down the field for some reason. Like, he just knows, like, if you got to give him too much space in front of him and he's going downfield, he can shake you like he's going one way and he's got the other way. And he's easily, like, you target him, he can catch it. And if you watch his college highlights, he was mainly a deep threat. But what we've been using him as the number one receiver because of his, I don't know, preseason, you know, he was so good in the preseason, but he's not the Michael Thomas short route guy. He's more of a deep threat. And then what's crazy is by the time he gets downfield, they try to get open, the lines are letting him get through by then, and then the quarterback don't have time. But if we had time all day long, you'll be seeing Callaway a lot more open.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. I think, and another thing too is a lot of people have to remember when they talk about separation issues with young wide receivers. And if you watch, and like I caution the family members to put the film on and watch a guy like Michael Thomas, you'll see why he's an elite level wide receiver. He doesn't have the burning speed that some of the DeAndre Hopkins and guys like that of the world. But what he does is he beats you within the first 5 yards of the play. He comes out and he creates separation, not because of his speed, but because of his technique. Mike puts hands on you. If you're trying to deflect him physically, he will out physical you to get to the spot. All this in one fluid motion. So, I mean, that's the thing people realize, like, how do you then gain separation? It's more than one way to get separation. Sometimes you might not be fast enough to get past your corner, the guy. But if you're good at slightly getting that little push in there, when you hit that, when you get within that 5 and knowing how to separate physically to get into the break, that's another thing. Like with Troutman, when the guy was on his back and batted the ball away from Troutman's hands on one, which was a difficult catch for Troutman because the guy was on his back. When Troutman went into his cut, he went up, and then when he went to cut to his left, the guy was on his hip. If Troutman was a little bit more veteran-esque in his approach, he would have been able to get that little nudge there to kind of create that separation as he then breaks into the route. And you notice that some of the best tight ends do that. They're not going to run away from you, but they're really good at creating enough space so they can make plays. not noticeably pushing off where the referee know, but that slick move where you get just enough room so you can catch that ball. That's something that our young guys have not learned yet. Now, a guy like Deontay Harris, he has straight speed where he can run away from you. But Callaway is a guy that has speed, like you said. He's a guy that can move, but most of his greatest attributes outside of his toughness is catching contested passes. That's why he was going to be a good fit with the black and gold. He loves doing that. But they still have to learn that, how to create the separation with little push movements and things like that, a little shimmy, arm shimmy to kind of create that separation, the little slick stuff that players do. They haven't learned that yet, but you have to do it. Watch out. Look at even a rotten dog like Metcalf, what he was doing. He knew he could not get away from Marshawn Lattimore, so he was doing, some of it was obvious, but he was also doing a little pushing to try to create separation because Daddy was on his back. So, I mean, that's stuff that'll happen in time. So that's why I caution the family members to be patient with these young wide receivers. You see they out there catching touchdown passes. They're out there learning the game. So those things they'll be learned in time with live game reps.
Yep. And then 504 in this comment, he said nobody's talking about it, but Troutman made some big time grabs in the fourth quarter.
They won't talk about it because the Troutman and the wide receivers for the Saints is supposed to be the scapegoats of this game. If you read the papers, or not the papers, but the websites, the sports websites is talking about the Saints, they're in harmony and they're all in the same chorus together, singing the same tune about drop passes and blaming the wide receiver. That's why we need to go and get Odell Beckham. That's why we need to bring him onto the team, because our wide receivers are garbage. They trash. And I totally disagree with that. These young wide receivers, we've had the reputation for years of developing undrafted wide receivers and running backs and linemen and linebackers and defensive backs. Our team is littered with them. So for whatever reason, people want to spotlight those wide receivers. It's not fair, man. With the good, it's the bad. You know how that goes.
Yep. Yeah, and I know how everybody's, aggravated about the not drafting a receiver in this draft, right? Well, we did draft a receiver. It was late. It wasn't in the first round.
Yeah, baby.
Well, to be honest with everybody, this draft, I'm really not mad at it, because Peyton Turner, if he stays healthy one day, he reminds me of he gives me a lot of hope of being a Marcus Davenport type of guy. He's big, physical. He's can easily push you around because he's strong. He's just like Davenport. Literally, I think they're the same height, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe the same weight. Marcus Davenport might be just a little bit bigger, but that kind of brings me a little bit of hope. And then when I seen Pete Warner drafted, I already told you, and that's what I wanted to ask you next. What is your thoughts? You heard me and Aaron from B&G Breakdown. You heard what we told you. He reminds us a little bit of Luke Kuechly. Remember, he could play that sideline to sideline. He could stop and run. And you saw at the beginning of the game, the first play against the Falcons, they ran the ball. First play, they ran it with Patterson, and Pete Warner nailed the crap out of him on that first play, and he was all hyped after that first tackle. Right. And you can just, and that's what I tell people. It's like Pete Warner is like a Luke Kuechly. Like I'm telling you, he's a Luke Kuechly in the making, and I feel like the only thing that's going to stop him from being that Luke Kuechly player is Dennis Allen and them maybe not playing him too much because focusing on Kawhi to be on the field, and an injury. And if Pete Warner gets hurt or something like that, that's the only thing I feel like that's going to stop Pete Warner, because right now he's on fire.
He is on fire. He's playing absolute phenomenal football. The thing that I notice about Pete Werner, when we used to watch the college film on Pete Werner, that athletic players give him fits at times, and I guess that's fair. But I mean, his anticipatory skills is almost elite level. How he has the ability to not be fooled by misdirection. He knows where the ball is. His eyes is big. He knows exactly where the ball is. You can't fool him. He anticipates extremely well. He was made for the position. He's fearless. He'll throw his head, his helmet, his head, and his body into the play to disrupt it at his own detriment. Pete Werner is a football player. And listen, you had Zach Bourne that started the year off. Zach Bourne went and trained out with the Watt boys, and he came into preseason. He looked really good too. He was out there playing really well. But listen, Pete Werner's playing on a whole nother level. He done secured, took that linebacker position from him. He is stellar. And listen, matter of fact, I really, really, truly pray that he does reach that Luke Kuechly level for the Saints, because that will be absolutely phenomenal to have a player like he looks absolutely terrific, man. His, like I said, the greatest thing that I love about Pete Werner is his anticipatory ability. He sees it and anticipates it so well. It's hard to fool him. His eyes is seeing. He knows where the ball is, and he that's one thing I noticed about that young man on film, is that he does a great job of finding where the ball at and then locking in and making a play.
Yep. And then if you actually go to a game in the dome and watch him live, because I watched him 3 times live, because he's been playing every game. I think he was just inactive for the first game against Green Bay, but after that he's been able to play. But if you watch him in person and actually watch some of the plays, he'll be pointing at, like, behind him, and he'll tap the linemen too, and he'll be talking to his team and be pointing out, like, yo, watch this, watch this, watch this. Like, he knows what's coming. And he actually called a few plays. Like, when I seen him watch the dude, he told one of the guys to watch, like, the right side of him. The play was coming to that side where he was talking about. And he read the play. It's just like he's already becoming a play caller, and he's only a rookie. And I said, just wait till he develops and actually becomes a Luke Kuechly. Then there's your replacement for Demario Davis whenever he retires, because Demario Davis, like I said, he ain't getting any younger, but he's getting a little bit older, but he's still looking good and solid. So I'm saying Demario still got probably a good 3 years with us. And then that will, if he has another 3 years with us, that would give our boy Pete Werner more time to learn from him and learn his veteran stuff and learn how to be a leader and all that. And then once he becomes that role to the Luke Kuechly, then he'll be ready to get his contract once Demario Davis hops out.
Right. I mean, that fits well. I mean, the Saints knew they needed some young blood at the linebacker position behind Demario Davis, getting Pete Werner there. Zach Bowen was playing well, like I said, but Pete Werner, that was a whole nother level he went on. And of course, Bowen needs to still be utilized to help out the Saints, too, in a special pass rusher role. I haven't seen him in use that. We can definitely use that ability at some point. But, yes, Caden Ellis has looked pretty decently at time. I'm really impressed with some of the play of our linebackers. But Pete Werner, man, behind Demario Davis, he sets the example. But my goodness, Werner is exceptional, man. I'm really happy to see how he's really stepping up and playing. So yes, I agree with you. Luke Kuechly, come on, I black and gold Luke Kuechly. I would love that, bro.
Shit, I would love it too. And just to speak a little bit with you about the Zach Bowen. Zach Bowen is more of a he's not even more of a pass rusher, like an edge rusher type of person. He's more of those people that you need to put, like, in the place where you got the 4 linemen rushing up, and then you'll put, like, Garner Johnson right there in that little spot right there just to do a blitz. Zach Bowen needs to be one of those that can blitz from the side. Not, don't replace a defensive end with him, but put him on the side that's Cameron Jordan on, or the side that's Peyton Turner's on. I mean, that's Peyton Turner. Davenport. Just put him right there waiting to blitz, to where a running back's got to pick him up. And then I feel like he can easily blitz. He's more of a blitzer, not more of a coverage. That's why I like Pete Werner better. Pete Werner is a blitzer, a cover, you name it, he can do it. Zach Bowen's more of a, like a rusher slash, I don't know how to say it. It's like, he kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, Malcolm Jenkins when you blitz him. Like, he can get to the guy and tackle you. And he's good at tackling. It's just he's not a good coverage guy. And that's why I felt like Pete Werner played from here on out since the Green Bay game. Remember, because he was out. Pete Werner was not in the Green Bay game. Everybody was complaining about Zach Bowen because he wasn't really keeping up with everybody for that in the Carolina game. And then Pete Werner started playing, and Pete Werner's been lights out since.
Yeah, that Christian McCaffrey, that's a tough cover for anybody. But he was just woefully behind McCaffrey on that one, and that segued him to the bench. So, I mean, but yeah, he's been utilizing him. I've seen him in special teams, but they really need to kind of bring him back as a pass rusher. But yeah, Pete Werner was doing majority of what you see him doing now for Ohio State there, directing and looking and seeing all that kind of stuff. And like you said, Zach Bowen was a guy that really excelled as a edge rusher at times for Wisconsin. And the Saints felt like, and that's what Coach Payton said when they drafted him, they wanted to teach him to turn to become a coverage linebacker, to be a full linebacker, to doing what they wanted to do. So it's still time for Bowen, man. And he showed some progress this year. I'm proud of him, but it's just different levels of progress. And Werner took it to the moon while he's still standing on earth. Yep.
And then we got a question right here from Mr. Nola Baby again, Mr. Kevin. He said, how do we attack the Titans? Because they're riding high now, coming off the Lambs win. That defense front is big and physical. So
you got to bring regardless or not, you got to bring the rushing attack. The Saints got to run the ball. Bottom line. I mean, and people were saying that about the Tampa Bay's front. Remember, Tampa Bay was the stingiest rush stuffing unit in the NFL. What the Saints did, put up 50 yards on them. So, like I said, you got, regardless of the statistics, you still got to test that line. You got to establish dominance at the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively speaking. So we got to run the football to set up the play action. Guys got to catch the ball. We have to execute offensively. And on the defensive side, you got to get pressure to Tannehill, put him on the ground, and one-dimensionalize by holding down their rushing attack. Keep the turnovers down, keep the pressure on, and we should be able to come out of a tough win in Tennessee land. Running game and defense travels, fam.
That's what we need. The run game. We need. Oh yeah. By the way, we're gonna also pass to Odell Beckham. Remember, he's coming. I just want to cheer everybody up. Let's all hope he's on the team this Sunday. When we play the Titans, we'll be passing to him, giving it to hopefully Kamara. Hopefully he's not ruled out this game because Kamara's a big piece to our offense. Yeah. But we just got to have our defense. Our defense got to be locked in, first of all. We got to, like you said, we need to keep the run game going, especially against their front seven, because it don't matter how good your front seven is. I feel like any team can run against you any given Sunday because, like we said, we proved the Bucs that we can do it. And then, like I said, the last thing, people need to catch Trevor Simeon's passes. You can't be catching them in the fourth quarter. We need to catch them all game long. And then I feel like we can get that W because he's throwing some of these balls. Like, some people look at him like, why the hell you drew that to him? But then when people are like this, oh, why are you doing that? And because literally I had people all around me saying, why did he throw that? Why did he throw that? But then as soon as they seen the replay on the TV, on the big screen, they were like, oh, shit, he should have caught that. I was right in his hands. And I'm like, well, you were just complaining why the hell he drew that. Shut up, damn it. Choose one. Do you want to ask him why he drew that, or you want to ask him why he didn't catch that? Tell me, which one you want to ask? And it was just like, if they would just catch the ball, he's been throwing the shit right on target, literally right here in your hands. Mm-hmm. You can come down with it. You're a receiver in the NFL. You should come down with anything. That's why you're a receiver. If you can't come down with it, we're going to move you to the defense. That's where you belong.
That's true. I mean, the same. He was hitting them dead in their hands. Traquan Smith, dead in his hands. Deontay Harris had one while he was sliding, hit him right in the chest. Deontay Harris dropped it, popped right up off of that. Marquez Callaway, another one. They all were doing it. And then, of course, the sense of urgency came in the fourth quarter, and they started catching them things because they wanted to win.
Yep. And some people are saying in the chat we didn't attack Jack Rabbit, our old player. I mean, yeah, but don't attack him too much where he does that pick six like we did against Tom Brady last year in the Dome. Because Jack Rabbit's still a good player. He's not bad. And the Saints said they would have loved to kept him this year, but it was just the money situation. And he even said it himself on another person's podcast and said, New Orleans is probably one of the best places, and he will go back here in a heartbeat. The reason why he just didn't go was because they couldn't offer him the money because of the salary cap. That's why they let him go, and he understood that from a business standpoint. So if we ever had money again, I bet you he would come back, and we would accept him too because he's not a bad corner next to Lattimore. But I think we found his replacement. Debo's good. Yeah. Give this man a little bit of time, and we're good. But we wanted to ask you, Big Q. I also put on my thumbnail that I was going to open up the lines. Do you have a few minutes to bring some people on here? We can talk a little bit on their thoughts.
Yeah, I got a few minutes. Yeah, I got a few minutes of it.
Gotcha. Because I'm going to post that in here real quick. Because, your favorite person, Mr. Jerry, he's going to want to hop on in here and talk. I haven't seen Coach Rudy tonight, which is a little shocking. Coach Rudy usually likes to come on here and talk. The last Saint, Mr. Tyrese or whatever, he's going to be in here. Yeah. Yep, he's in here. I know he will hop in. So I'm going to put the link in there. Everybody join on in if you want to ask me and Big Q any questions. And, give us your thoughts on OBJ coming, hopefully. Give us the thoughts on the Titans coming up. And, we can just talk about anything. But the main thing is the receiver right now. That's what we need to focus on. And like I told everybody, Odell, best side I feel like is with us. Like, if you go to the Seahawks, that's a good team, but you want to go to a contender right now. They're not contenders right now. Like, yeah, they getting what's his name, Russell Wilson back, but they like 2 or 3, 4 games behind us now. So, hold up. We got somebody on, and there's no better way to introduce the man with his little video I created for him. Yes, everybody knows him by Jerry. Everybody calls him the OG. He is the one who is going to bring the subscribers to you. No matter if you're new or you're old, he's still going to bring it to you. Jerry! Welcome, Jerry, to the Hoodie Jube podcast.
And you just talked about it because you already know I'm coming in.
OG.
What's up, Alan?
Nothing much, man. Just on here talking with my big man, Big Q. And now I'm on here with you, man.
What's up, Big Q?
What's good, brother Jay? What's going on, my boy? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Salute to you, brother, and the great Saints think tank. As always.
Salute, baby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And like you always say,
Welcome.
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 I am rocking with Hoodie Jube, Big Q of the Sports Coma.
We talk Saints football.
This is awesome, man. I'm enjoying. Yes, sir. We chop it up and talk Saints football, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And shout out to everybody in the chat. I hope everybody's having a good night tonight on this Tuesday night. I hope you and your family are doing good and everything. So let's talk Saints football as always. Let's do it.
So Jerry, what's on your mind, bro?
well, with them Falcons out the way, God help them. I'm ready for Sunday. I'm just ready for the next game. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm ready for, Hoodie.
Hey, I'm ready too. But so, what's your thoughts on the Odell thing if he comes?
Well, like I said before in the past, Hoodie and Big Q, if the Saints get him, that's great. If we don't get him, we just had to go with what we got. And I really hate to say this. And somebody told me when I read about the wide receiver core we got, all right, and I said, if I told you the truth, I can't tell you the truth, man, because these receivers we got, Lord help them. Lord help them. Lord help them.
Hey, they need
they trash, bro.
Hey. Hey, I know you say they trash, okay? They were trash for the first half, okay? Say like that, because they got some games where they on their game, and we was, like, especially the Green Bay, we was killing them, and we like, oh, yeah, we got a good season coming, and then, the Panthers game wasn't so well with everybody out, coaches, starters, you name it, and then after that, who was it, the Patriots, we did good again. Like I said, Callaway just has so much on his plate for a second year undrafted player. Just think of that. He's an undrafted player that didn't get drafted, and it's only his second damn year here, and he's proven himself pretty damn well. And I said, all we missing right now is our number one receiver, and that's why I tell everybody Odell can be that person for us, to be honest. And also, before we get into everything, welcome Saints on here. This is Tyrese, man. Welcome to the podcast.
What it do, my man? What's going on? How y'all doing tonight?
Tyrese?
Good, brother. Tyrese, how you doing, brother?
Good. Q, you got faded up? Did you get faded?
Say
like you got lined up.
Nah, bro. I'm the same, bro. I ain't hit the barbershop. I'm going later on this week, bro.
Okay, fresh to death, I see. All right.
Yeah.
So Tyrese, what's your thoughts, man? Because I just asked Jerry about the Odell. What do you think about him if he comes? What do you think he's going to bring to us?
Oh, man, before I even get on that, I just want to, conclude with the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons played us really good like they normally do. And in good NFC South tradition, the Falcons are about to go on a 5-game losing streak because that's what normally happens. They win a solid game, and then they start losing, and then the Saints do the complete opposite and start winning a whole bunch of games down the field.
Yeah, it's like a role reverse.
Big time role reverse. But
Yeah.
Odell thing, I don't think we're gonna sign him at all. I got all that hope out. Cause you remember we did that long hour stream, and then we just figured out that Odell had to wait a few more days for waivers to clear. So it was basically live streaming for nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, but there is sources going out, and I've been reading them. They said the Packers supposedly offered him a contract already, and I think they said somebody else too was offering. I forgot the other team. It was the Packers and somebody else. Oh, it might have been Seattle was trying to offer him a contract, but he said he don't want to join nobody just yet. He wants to see everything, see all the offers, and see who can give him the best. And they said the two teams right now that are pushing so hard and trying to beat these other people's offers are the Patriots and the Saints. So, and the Saints are showing
Sean Payton lied to us again.
Hey, he told you. No, he said in the thing. No, he didn't lie to you. What he said was he told you the truth. He said we can't pick him off of waivers. It's to be honest, we can't do nothing about that salary cap. But once he hits that free agent, then it's on. Game's on. He can do whatever he wants. But he couldn't pick up just the waiver contract. So he was just being honest with you. He was just like, yeah, we're not even worried about a receiver right now until he hits free agent.
Yep.
But we'll see, man. If Odell can be added on, that'd be a true blessing. I mean, I'm sick. I'm kind of tired of the offense exploding in the fourth quarter when they should be playing well. Because that's been the issues the past year is that the offense does not play well in the first half. Like it takes them the second half to get, fully motivated to destroy the defense. But Odell would be great. They won't be able to cover that, man. And the other wide receivers will get well. The only problem will be the playoffs. Like they'll be triple covering him, and hopefully the other wide receivers don't get locked down, because that's how it's been the other years in the playoffs. Yeah, I know we can make it to the playoffs, but
Callaway, Deontay Harris. They will get open. Trust me. If you triple team OBJ, put your best three players on OBJ, and see who you're gonna put in cover on Callaway. And then the only reason why people are stressing over Callaway, this man this is his second year as an undrafted player, and he's being your number one receiver right now, getting double teamed. He's the one getting double teamed. What do you think he's gonna do when he's not double teamed and he don't have a number one or number two corner on him? He should be able to eat. It's just he can't right now because that's what everybody's game planning for. Is him. And I'm surprised people ain't trying to do a game plan on Deontay Harris because he's the one being our number one receiver, basically, if you look at the stats. Deontay Harris is the one killing everybody. But they all want to focus on Callaway because that's who's legitimately our number one if you don't double team him. So if I tell people, we're just missing that Odell Beckham, Michael Thomas. We're just missing that one good receiver to take the pressure off of these young players to where they can actually play in their role where they're really going to fit and shine. And that's why Callaway looked good last year for a little bit while Michael Thomas was in. And that's why he looked good in the preseason because you ain't going against no corners, number one, number twos in the preseason really because they all resting for the regular season. So those people you seen him killing, that's who's going to be guarding him in the playoffs because that's going to be the third cornerback that's going to have to guard him if you had a number one like Odell. So I don't know. You can agree or not agree, but I feel like they're going to eat once we get our number one receiver there.
That makes sense, and Sean Payton definitely needs to do something about Kevin White. I mean, come on, putting him in for like a couple of plays, like you got to use him if you have him. Otherwise, you got these other guys just waiting in the wings. Like my poor boy, Dwayne Washington. Like he's literally rusting on the bench right now because he's not being used. Even though our running game is good, but Kevin White, man, you got to do something with him. Got to use him more.
He's on the special team, bro.
Yeah, Dwayne Washington's being used on special teams. Hey, but you also got to realize he just got back this week from IR too.
Yep, neck issues.
Yeah, the neck issue. So I mean, he's just literally just got back. So he's basically your special team guy. So you're gonna see him a lot more in the field, and you might see him a lot this week because the Saints haven't announced yet if they're gonna bring Lamar Miller up yet from the practice squad, and they just signed that dude, Adams. So we just gotta see. So basically, what is y'all thoughts? I'm gonna start with Mr. Big Q. You and me kind of went over it a little bit, but what is your final thoughts so far for this Titans game? You know, like what do you want to see from your offense, and what do you need to see from the defense to where, like, hey, I feel comfortable of beating these Titans if they do this?
I can see us mimicking a lot of our game plan over the last couple of weeks. There is no loss of confidence in Trevor Siemian as far as Coach Payton is concerned. He's going to make sure that passing game goes through Siemian. He's going to mix a little bit more Taysom in there. I don't know what the issue is with Kamara or how more effective, less effective he'll be in this matchup. That's a big sticking point. But if he's good enough to go insofar as in a reduced role, I'm happy to see Ingram there. But you're going to have to find somebody else to mix in there with Ty Montgomery dealing with issues as well. So Taysom Hill to get an uptick in reps as well. But offensively speaking, we have to be able to, like I said, run the ball. We have to control the line of scrimmage. They have a pretty good defense. We have to be able to control and dominate the line of scrimmage from the offensive side. And then be able to run the ball, operate the play action off the back of that. The guys got to catch the ball. They got to do what they're supposed to do because, it gets difficult when you go into other people's building. You can't be making all those extra mistakes. You got to be able to get to the quarterback, Tannehill. Can't allow him to stand back there and gather a rhythm. You have to neutralize the rushing attack. And, of course, defense, special teams are doing pretty good for us. And defense has to pick it up, especially on the road. But when you have a letdown like what they had against Atlanta, the Saints they will respond in kind on the road against Tennessee. So, like I said, more pressure to the quarterback, neutralizing them, one-dimensionalizing them, putting pressure on Tannehill, flustering them, giving them different looks, and we'll see how it goes. So there's some caveats. Kamara injury, whatever's going on there concerns me, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's injury concerns me as well. So these are two big injury issues that can be problematic for the Saints depending on what level they are.
Yep, I totally agree with you. And then what about you, Mr. Jerry? What's your thoughts? What do you want to see from the offense and the defense to tell you, like, hey, we can win this game against the Titans? What do you want to see from them? I guess Jerry don't want to see nothing from them.
I think he disappeared, but he might be coming back. But
okay.
But my thought about this. My thought about this Hoodie and Big Q. I heard what you were saying about Trevor Siemian, and I want to say that he's playing well. He's playing well at starting quarterback, but if you just get them wide receivers on the right track, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you're gonna see better results if they just catch the ball and run the right plays, man. I mean, because like I told you Sunday night, fellas, that this schedule is not going to get easier as people think. I mean, look what we got coming up. We got the Titans coming up this Sunday. Then we got the Eagles coming up, and then you got the Thanksgiving night game against Buffalo. So, I mean, you guys, time is now. The offense need to get back to get that fire back. It's like firing up the fireplace to warm up on a cold, snowy day. You gotta get that fire back, and that defense, as well as they've been playing the last couple of weeks, they gotta get that fire back up and running as well, because it ain't. Look, I got news for you. It's not going to be easy with these teams we got coming up, and I said this on Big Q's podcast and yours, Alan, as well as T.J. Jones. I said, I mean, we can't take these teams lightly the way we think, because they're going to bring their A game, just like the Saints going to bring their A game, because you never know what they're going to have up their sleeve. You just never know what they're going to have up their sleeve. That's why we show up like always and play our best football, because they're gonna do the exact same thing that we're gonna do, only better. So that's just my thoughts and opinion on this upcoming matchup with Tennessee.
Yep. Like, my opinion is basically starts with the defense, especially the defensive line. As long as you put pressure on any damn quarterback in the league, you should be straight. You should be winning games if you put in pressure on these quarterbacks, making them feel uncomfortable in the pocket, make them do dumb decisions, because every quarterback can do it. Because and it's like I tell people, if you don't put no pressure on the quarterback at all, and I said this in a bunch of my podcasts before, I can be a quarterback. If you don't pressure me, I'm gonna get somebody open every play, and I'm not even an NFL quarterback, but I can kill your defense if you leave me all day to pass. And that's why I tell people, it don't matter who the quarterback is, and it don't matter how good your corner. You can have Jalen Ramsey, you can have the best corners in the league all on a team together. People are going to get open, because if you leave that man too much time, the receiver is visibly going to get their separation. They're not just going to be stuck there. You know, it's just stuff that I like to tell people. It's like, as long as that front four, like Cameron Jordan, Adamadu, and Davenport, and Capasino, as long as all of them get to the quarterback, put some pressure on Tannehill, and don't give him time to pass, and force them to run the ball against us, we can win the game. Because we know our run defense is good enough to stop their run. So just force them to run the ball and be like, yo, we can't even get a pass. We're getting so much pressure, we need to run the ball. And then when y'all run the ball, that's how we stop you.
A good call.
Also, we're going to bring on we're also going to bring on somebody else that is drawing on in, and I know Mr. Jerry's going to love this person. We call her the counsel of this Hoodie Jube podcast, Miss Tess. Miss Tess in the building. How you doing, Miss Tess?
How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, Tess.
I just wanted to address some of the things, some of the questions that were going on in the chat, and also this whole home dome advantage deal. We haven't seen it this year. It just seems like our team is getting too comfortable at home, because they're looking pretty pedestrian at home so far this year. Do y'all agree or disagree?
I agree with you, Tess.
I agree.
And then also with the AK rumors, I don't think there's any specific injury that's been mentioned anywhere. He's just banged up. That's the last thing I heard, and we can't depend on AK to be our bell cow. I think that's why we went out and got Mark Ingram. Maybe that's why we went out and got Josh Adams.
Right.
Yeah. And as far as bringing Odell in, I'm not sure. I mean, like, I'd take him for a rental as long as he signs an NDA, so he'll keep his mouth shut. But I don't know if he's that man for us. I'd like to have him for a rental. I think he'll be too expensive for half a year. And will he be willing to take the glory and the fury if he doesn't produce? I'm not so sure.
Previous stop says no, Tess.
Wow.
What'd you say?
Previous stop says no.
Yeah. We've seen what he did when he was with the Giants. We've seen what he did just recently with the Browns. So I don't know.
I mean,
they're going to double team him. You know they're going to double team him. So
anybody's going to double team
touches. Right. So is he going to get the touches that he wants? I don't know.
Yeah. The reason why I say yes is because look who the coach is, Sean Payton. He's going to draw up plays to give it to you. If he has to do a quick screen and let Beckham do what he does, because Beckham's pretty good at screens. If you give him an open field, he can run the ball. So he's going to do whatever he's got to do to draw up a play to put it in Beckham's hands before he can be that playmaker he wants to be. And that's why I tell people, it don't matter if you get double teamed or not. We're going to find a way to put it in your hands, because that's the Sean Payton. He's one of those people that's got to – Sean Payton's one of those coaches that's like, I'll be damned if you think you're going to double team him all game and I'm not going to find a way to put it in his hands.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I also could say the same thing about AK, because AK is not just a running back. He's a hybrid. He acts as a wide receiver sometimes on screen passes and such.
That's correct. Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Also, too, just a little bit about the Titans. Yeah. They have Jackrabbit. They have Julio Jones and they have Adrian Peterson. And I don't say that because, these are all great players. We know what Jackrabbit can do. Julio, he's on the decline in his career, or at least we would think so. Adrian Peterson also. But they know some of our secondary moves, and they know how our defense has worked in the past. So that's just something to watch for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They do, especially on Jack Rabbit being in the defense. Adrian
Definitely
Peterson being on our team. Adrian Peterson was on our team for a little bit, and then you got to think about Julio, who played against us every year
right.
for two games a year. So I definitely know what you're talking about.
A little thing about CD too. I don't think he has any broken bones in his foot, because he had quoted something out of the Bible that has to do with my foot and it being okay. It was a Psalm quote, but it looks like he might have turf toe. Has anybody heard anything else?
I haven't heard nothing since then, but I did see him post on Twitter today to the New Orleans Pelicans saying it's going to be turned out Friday. He's going to be at the Pelicans game Friday, so I don't think it's hurt that much if he can walk to a Pelicans game.
Oh, they can put that in a walking cast. He could make it there anyway.
Yeah, so I feel like he'll be straight. But this week he'll probably sit out.
We've seen our guys with turf toe. Mark Ingram was out with several games with turf toe. Davenport was out for a long time with turf toe. And it depends on the grade they give it. The 1, the 2, or the 3. It can go anything from a sprain to a tear. So we'll see.
Hey, and y'all, what 504 said in the chat, he said, Odell, if we get him, it'll be great because it will make Trotman, AK, and Deontay and Callaway. It makes all these people better when you put a number one on the field. And that's why I told everybody earlier. I think we're just missing a number one target, especially a number one receiver like Michael Thomas, Odell. We're missing one of those key pieces to take off the load that everybody else is carrying right now that they shouldn't have to be carrying.
I'd like to believe that's true. If he's drawing double teams, that puts more, for the rest of our wide receivers to get open. But what it doesn't do, it doesn't make them separate. So, something to remember.
What do you mean by the separate?
Getting separation away from whoever's covering them.
Yeah, but the reason why they having trouble separating is because they're going against the number 1, number 2 corners right now when they're not a number 1 receiver,
Yeah, but if you have 2 decent cornerbacks and you have safeties shading or bracketing, whatever, it's still not going to get them to separate. It does put more bodies towards Odell, but it doesn't fix every problem we have.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, especially because it's kind of like, let's say you go against I don't know who you want to say, the Rams. You got Ramsey and a good safety or whatever on them. Well, I feel like Callaway going against Ramsey, he's not going to get open because that's Ramsey and a safety watching over them. But if he's going against their number 2 and number 3 corner, I feel more comfortable. I mean, Deontay Harris is getting guarded by their second corner, and Callaway's getting guarded by the 1 and the safety. So it's harder when you're going against their top, corners. But when Callaway going against some of the smaller corners, that ain't that big because you got Odell, or if Michael Thomas, when he comes back next year, getting all the attention, that's going to leave more people in the open field. That's why everybody ate off of the years that we had Michael Thomas, because everybody had so much pressure on him and was focused on him that they forgot that AK was in the backfield sometimes, and we had the tight ends and Jerry Cook getting open and, other side wide receivers. And that's why I said we're just missing that number 1 that can take the attention off of the corners and the safeties and be like, yo, we got to focus on Odell. This is their number 1 receiver. We got to focus. So that's going to release some pressure off of my boy Callaway. And Deontay Harris really ain't that bad at getting separation. If I'm not mistaken, I think they said he's the best one on the team right now with separations.
Oh, Deontay's a speedy guy. But
Yeah.
But
He's
Deontay, you have to protect him to a certain degree because he is our gunner and he's little. He is little.
Right.
He's fast, but he is little. So you can't send him out there and expect him or AK to be our bell cow. No way.
I mean, it's like the Chiefs, though. I mean, look how small Tyreek Hill is, and they call him to be their bell guy. But don't forget, they also get to rely on Travis Kelce. So
Deontay and Tyreek are not the same player. Believe me.
Hey, they got the same thing, though. I'm telling you, if you watch their gameplay and you watch some of the films, Deontay Harris actually got better footwork than him. They just don't use him like they do with Tyreek.
Well, he maybe have better footwork, but I'm telling you, he's not built the same way.
Yeah, you need to definitely beef up.
Tyreek Hill is big, man.
He's a lot bigger than Deontay is. He needs to beef up. And that's the comparisons the Saints wanted to make him Tyreek Hill. But he has to be able to beef up a bit. And he's been dealing with injuries this year. So, yeah, speed, you're right, Tess, the separation issues. like we talked about a guy like King Guard Mike, who's not the fastest guy in the world, but he's able to gain separation. Why? Because he knows how to get separation the good old fashioned way. I think some of these other guys have not quite, they're not fundamental in that task yet. They have to be able to kind of pick Mike's his head and learn how to get separation that way. You got to get guys off of you so you can get into your route. And you got to be able to know how to create that space within that 5 cushions. Because most of the times you're not going to be able to run past these guys. Like Deontay is like one of the fastest. He's probably the fastest guy on the team, not named Taysom Hill or Elvin Kamara. Probably he smokes everybody. So, I mean, his speed's going to get you. But Callaway is a fast guy, but he's not, that blazing fast. He's going to have to use his hands and other things to get these guys off of him so he can get into his route to make the catches a lot easier.
Right.
So, I
and
mean,
look, Michael Thomas will body you, and he will go up for that ball as well.
That's right. Mm-hmm. He'll position. He does and you're absolutely 100% right, Tess. You have to be able to do that work within, and that's what I was saying about what Mike Thomas does. People really don't truly appreciate Mike Thomas. They're talking about speed of all these other guys, but if you watch the film on Mike Thomas, how he's able to create and how he does this when 2 guys are guarding him. He doesn't have elite level speed, but he's still making these catches because of how he does it within the first 5 yards. He gets in there and he out physicals guys, and he gets to a spot. He knows what he's doing, and he's doing it fluidly in one motion. So a Callaway is going to have to get stronger, and they're going to have to learn these little fundamental tricks and then add all this other stuff in it. So it took Mike some time before him to working in the gym constantly, first man in, last man leaving the gym, to get his body and his mind right to be able to take on that. These other guys are in the same boat. They're going to have to learn how to get in that gym. They're going to have to hit those weights, and they're going to have to be working on their route running, because that's another component of that too. If you're an excellent route runner and you know how to get separation by getting being physical and get these guys off of you, you will have success. And I think a lot of these guys have to be able to learn. These young guys going to have to be able to learn eventually.
That's true. And look, I think Drew Brees drove a lot of what Mike Thomas did. I have to say wide receivers coach too, but first one in, last one out.
Gave him his work ethic, Tess. You're 100% right, 1,000% right. He gave him that work ethic, and he was inspired by it. He spoke about that many times, about watching Drew Brees being as great as he is, and watching his work ethic, watching him mentally go through entire full games with just him out on the field by himself, thinking with nobody out there but him, and he's going through a whole game mentally in his head. And then understand, well, how is Drew so prepared in these games? Because he did the mental prep. Very few people actually do that. And a lot of these guys learn that elite level stuff. Mike Thomas is one of the guys that learned how to do that, which helped him inspire to be one of the best in the business. So we in the right building. The rest of these guys got to pick up some of this stuff.
Absolutely. Yep. And look, if you look at the smart athletes, especially Olympic athletes, they go through that. You'll see them go through that just with their head and their eyes, and they'll walk through it in their head, and they'll use their eyes looking down, whether it's a pole vaulter or runner, it doesn't matter. They all do that. You
got to see yourself successful before you actually get there. It's all in the mental. And before
got to believe it to achieve it.
That's right. Absolutely. Yep. Hey, Hoodie, listen, bro, I got to clock out on that beautiful conversation right there, Tess. I got to clock on that. Listen, I want to thank all of you guys here, especially you, bro, for inviting me over to your platform. You're doing a terrific job, bro.
Thanks for being here, Q.
Much love, family. I'm always, I'm not too far from the Who Dat Nation, man. So I thank y'all. I love y'all, and I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all stay safe. And Who Dat to the family.
Yes, sir. Who Dat, BQ.
Thank you. All right. Much love.
All righty, y'all. Thank you, Mr. Big Q, for being on here, brother. So let's get back into the conversations, y'all. And Ms. Tess, while you're on here, I want to ask you this too. You know how everybody disrespect Michael Thomas with the slant boy, the slant name? This is what I wanted to ask y'all. If you want to disrespect him and not appreciate his game and call him the slant boy, but then why can't you stop him, right? That's just my question. Like, why can't you not stop Michael Thomas if you know that's all he runs is slant, supposedly?
But that's just lazy thinking.
Right.
It is. If you look at the statistics on the routes that Thomas can run, he's good really good at least at 5 of the 8 or 9 routes that can be run on a route tree. It's just lazy.
Yeah, because that's the thing I tell people. It's like, if you're going to talk and say he only runs slant and you don't want to respect his game, well, then why don't you tell your defense, knowing that he's only running slants, to stop that shit, because we're going to keep running it if you can't stop it. Now, once you stop it, he can run a different route. But we already damn know he runs different routes. They just call him slant because they just hate on him because he broke the record. So, to be honest.
Right. And
what happened? What happened? We lost Big Q, and I got lost, and y'all still on. But I hope everything.
Oh, Big Q got off. Big Q got off.
Oh.
Yeah, Big Q had to go.
yeah, Jerry, what happened to you?
Yeah, what happened to you, Jerry?
I got cut off, but I came back on.
Okay. Because I was saying he didn't get cut off. He said he had to leave. So we told him.
Right to bed.
It's my phone, man. It act up sometimes. Sometimes when you're using the phone and not the laptop, I mean, sometimes it'll cut you off. It just have issues sometimes. But it ain't gonna stop me from continuing to talk Saints football. It'll never stop me.
Yeah, keep fellowshipping.
It won't. But
Damn that technology.
So
that's right, Miss Tess. Tell them, counsel.
So the council, Miss Tess, we was talking about with Big Q and Jerry earlier. What is your thoughts, basically, on this game coming up against the Titans? What do you want to see from the offense, and what do you want to see from the defense to say, hey, this is what we need to do for us to beat these Titans, even though they don't have Derrick Henry no more?
Well, the defense, correct me if I'm not mistaken, didn't we get beat in a lot of man coverage this last game?
I'm not for sure if it was man coverage.
Zone.
Yeah, I think it was more in the zone coverage that was getting killed.
Okay, because I had seen some analysis from two different people, and they were saying we were getting beaten man. I couldn't actually see it, and I haven't broken down all the film, so I'm not really sure about that. All I know is we've got to go out there and play the game we know that we can play, and there better be some smart coaching coming from the sidelines. Dennis Allen can't not adjust on the fly. He has to adjust on the fly against these teams. It's just necessary. He can't wait till the fourth quarter to do this.
Yep.
You're right.
And like I said, you can't wait 4 quarters to start catching the ball. We need to do it the whole game.
Right,
if the ball's in your hands,
definitely
catch
right.
the damn ball.
Well, I thought Drew Brees was in there in the fourth quarter. I was like, what the hell?
I tell y'all, Trevor Siemian is really not bad like everybody thinks he is. He really is a good quarterback to me.
He seems to be so far. I mean, he's still cool
he's
and collected.
not.
He's taking sacks. I mean, come on.
Right.
Yep.
And his deep ball skills are really good too. I mean, it's not like Jameis, because Jameis can bomb it out 60, but the way he can throw the ball off of a release, how a wide receiver can get open. I mean, the short passes, the knowledge to dump it off to AK. It's just really good. But I looked at the stats, and for those 40 attempts, that should have been 35 completions out of 45 or 40 attempts or whatnot.
41.
So 41 should have been like 35 completions or whatnot.
Yeah, he seems to not have the running ability that Jameis does so clumsily, awkwardly, but still is very successful at it.
Blame that O-line.
But yeah, exactly. But he does seem to be a little more cool under pressure, and he has those underneath throws that Jameis is not as good at just yet.
Okay, yeah. And it's crazy. I mean, he was riding the bitch for since 2017 or 2018?
I think it was, huh? Was it? I think he's been since 19. It was 19. I think it was 19 he came.
19 he came? Yeah, man. Like, only thing that I want Trevor Siemian to get better in is just running down the field. Like, this offensive line, in my opinion, is real suspect because random shit happens. Ryan Ramczyk can get beat. Ryan Ramczyk can get destroyed because you seen him get put on his ass. Our left side of the field, Teron Armstead, he can completely miss a block, like how he did for Trevor when he fumbled the ball. So Trevor can hang in the pocket and wait for somebody to get open. I'd rather him pull a Jameis and run down the field. Like, do what you got to do to pick up 3 or 5 yards to keep the drive going.
It kind of seems like he was making, like, you know how you can feel the pressure coming to you when from your blind side. It feels like he's good at that too. Besides that one play, like you said, that Armstead literally missed the whole block and he had barely no time and literally got hit for the fumble. But other than that, if you watch him, he normally can read the pressure and feel it coming, because, like, when I was there watching him, we like, oh shit, here comes the dude. There's a dude about to come around and get him. He starts taking off and starts going to the side that the guy's not on, and he'll like extend the play, which is pretty neat from him. That's what I like about him so much.
He seems to have really good pocket awareness, and and I think he was correct when he was saying things about Ram. We're so used to having Ramczyk being able to protect that side of the football. And then also Teron's always playing injured. Whether he's out there or not, he's playing injured. He always is. So I've been calling for Teron's replacement to start 3 years ago, just to sit on the practice squad. Something, anything.
I've been calling for Pete replacement.
Hey, to be honest, I think we got 2 guys in mind. Like, one of them's on one of them is on the active roster. The other one's on the practice squad. One of them is James Hurst, who's playing guard right now. He's originally used to be a starting left tackle for the Ravens and made the Pro Bowl, I believe. Because he really is a good left tackle. But he, after he had like a suspension or something, they released him and they didn't want the contract. And then he went through the free agent and came to the Saints for, a minimum contract. And we've been loving him ever since. And the other person that could be his replacement that's on the practice squad was the dude we drafted this year, Landon Young from the Kentucky. That man made the SEC team like 3 times. So I can see him being a good, and everybody's saying so far, like, with the practices and being with the practice squad, Landon Young has been showing himself really good. They're just not using him yet because we don't need him right now, because we still got Armstead and everybody doing good. But if one of them goes down, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring up Landon Young.
That's good to hear.
Yep. So,
I mean, and I think also too, Eric McCoy and Trevor have to develop some chemistry, because Trevor wasn't playing with McCoy in practices in an off season and such. So I think there's a little bit going on there too, because Eric McCoy hasn't looked as good since he came back.
No, he has not. Hell no. Well, he looked good in spurts, and They definitely have to play well against this Titan team, because the defensive line for the Titans, honestly, they dominated the Rams, but honestly, I think the Rams got caught slipping. It happens time to time. They got caught slipping, but the only way the Saints can win is the defensive line. Like, they have to get Tannehill, because Tannehill can literally dice you up, and if you got too much space in the trenches, Tannehill can literally rush down the field.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to beat them at the line of scrimmage for sure.
Right, but I believe in Trevor. I know he can get it done. Julio Jones and AJ Brown. I don't know what's going on with the Titans. I don't know if it's their uniform colors, but they all look big. Like everybody, the whole roster looks big when they on the field. I don't know if that's just me or not.
They do got some big players, though. They do got big players.
Big players.
Yeah, their players are huge.
AJ Brown, I think him and DK Metcalf are the same size. So you got him. Julio's ain't never been small. Their whole offensive line are big freaking dudes. I know that for a fact. All their dudes are big. This thing, Derrick Henry's a big motherfucker. Tight ends are always big. So, and then Tannehill's a tall ass quarterback. I think he's 6'4" for a quarterback. So,
yeah,
they got they got a big squad. So, but we got some big dogs ready to eat them down in that defense. So, we should be good.
No little boy shit.
Yep.
No little boy shit.
The only good thing about it is that we don't have to worry about Derrick Henry. And that tells you right there, you better be running a lot more covered plays than running because they're not going to be able to run it too much on us because our defense, like I told everybody earlier, our front four is good enough to handle the run, to be honest. Our front four can handle the run. Need to cover more and focus more on A.J. Brown and Julio. Those are your two people you need to focus more on than worrying about the run because at the end of the day, your front four / front six, if you want to do it, if you run the 2 linebacker, they can handle the run all day long. And they show you what they did against the Falcons. They only allowed like 38 yards of rushing.
Right. Imagine Adrian Peterson rushing for 100 yards. I quit the season right now.
I mean, just think of some of the plays that Matt Ryan did this past weekend against us. How he broke out the backfield, made Demario Davis a miss, and he got a few more yards. He probably got most of that 30 yards in rushing. If he didn't do that and we would have stopped him in the backfield, they probably would have ended up with like 10 rushing yards.
Right, you ain't kidding, man. These running backs be like kind of main issues. No, they are the main issues. Because when they put Saquon Barkley out on the left side or the right side, it seems like Marshawn Lattimore can't compete. Because he's like, I don't know if they're real good or not. So he plays down. And what's the other? Christian McCaffrey. When they put Christian McCaffrey in the Texas routes and other routes just running down the field, they couldn't stop that. And exactly what happened in this Falcons game, too. So this defense definitely got to be prepared, man. For real.
Yeah, they starting to study us because, I mean, there's been a lot of hype about our defense this year. So, they're looking at film.
Yep.
Right, because Demario Davis got his look, man. I love Demario Davis. I try not to talk too much trash. I don't talk trash about him at all. But Matt Ryan literally snatched his ankles. Demario didn't whiff on that play. Matt Ryan was about to get killed.
That was 2 plays. I think he did that to us twice to Demario Davis.
Right. So it definitely had to be prepared when a Russian.
Yeah, but Tannehill's probably a little bit better running than Matt Ryan. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, really, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to go out there and play clean and perfected football against their squad and the refs.
Right, because best believe it, the defense can get 3 and outs, like especially for the first half. I mean, we've seen that for these past games. It's just up to the offense to score. And I'm not talking about field goals, but, touchdowns. They got to get touchdowns to put the game away early.
Right, and like I told somebody before this last game, you can't expect our defense to win every game for us.
Right, because the offense nowadays is just too powerful. Like, you see how the rules are for the offenses.
And you see that ours is kind of vanilla right now.
Yeah, they really are.
It is. But, Miss Tess and Tyrese and Mr. Jerry, is there any last thing y'all want to say before we end the podcast tonight?
Who that?
Oh, well, Miss Tess said who that. All right, Tyrese. And any last thing you want to say before we hop off?
Yeah, OBJ, search your heart. Find love. Look down south and look at us with open arms stretched out towards you.
And Jerry,
Mm-hmm.
we gotta save the OG for last.
I don't have anything, Alan.
Alrighty. Well,
Jerry, you
I
only got a lot to say.
anything else to say except just get ready. Just get ready for Sunday, and that's about it.
Right.
Yep. Just get ready for Sunday, and then I think let's see what's today. Tuesday,
Love
probably
you,
Thursday.
That's why we love you, Tess.
Miss Tess, you didn't say I love you back.
Love all y'all back.
Oh.
Love you too, Tess.
But with that being said, y'all, we're gonna end the podcast right here, and also I think Thursday, not Thursday.
We love it when you come on here. Hey, we love it when you come on here.
Hey, we all love it when you come on here, Miss Tess.
I try to be here when I can.
Man.
I try to be here when I
Alex,
can.
Before you go in.
Yeah. Hey Jerry, you went mute for a second.
Cool. That's why you the counsel, Miss Tess.
Oh, now we can hear you.
Now I'm on.
All right, cool. Just wanted to make sure. But
Yeah, I'm on. No, I just also want. Look, I just want to say. Also, shout out to Big Q and for coming on as your guest. Big shout out to you, Big Q, and the Sports Coma and the Great Saints Think Tank. Thank you all for coming on here to chop it up with us and talk Saints football. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We love you all. Who that to y'all?
yes, who that to y'all, man. And I think Friday or Saturday I'm gonna do another podcast soon. And have us a big roundtable, for our last final thoughts on this coming game against the Titans. And also we should have another podcast maybe hopefully tomorrow. I might be able to go live if because they saying tomorrow or the next day would be the day we're most likely to be expecting Odell to be picking a place. So we'll see about that, and we'll come on the podcast and talk about where he signs and stuff like that and what our thoughts on for that. But with that being said, y'all, if y'all don't know, y'all will know. There's no YouTube without your boy Hoodie Jube, and there's no better way to end it with the intro. And also, you also gotta acknowledge our Saints and acknowledge my boy Trevor Simeon.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, get ready for an entertainment explosion. Get ready for an avalanche of awesomeness. Get ready to go live with your boy. Here he is, Hoodie Jube. And make sure to hit the subscribe button for your chance to win tickets to a live New Orleans Saints football game.